Hi YouTube, it's Dale from Beauty in the Empty Nest, and today I'm going to do another foundation review. I've really got into trying these different foundations, and first of all evaluating how they apply, blend, look, all those kinds of things, but also taking it now from the critical lens of how does it work also for more mature skin. So if you want to see, I am going to go through a review of the Nars Sheer Glow. So if you want to see how it goes, and I'll also do an application where you'll get to see that, then keep watching. Okay, so you're ready to see about Nars Sheer Glow. Now this is a very much hyped foundation. Maybe it has died off a little bit than it was a couple years ago. However, I kind of just started sampling it. So how does this go? Well, first of all, it's supposed to be more of a medium coverage, and despite its name of Sheer Glow, it's not supposed to be a radiant, glowing type of foundation. It is supposed to be more satiny, kind of not matte, but not glowy, radiant. It's supposed to be quite buildable, it's supposed to be very blendable, and it's supposed to have fairly decent longevity throughout the day. So I have now been using this for about 2 weeks. There was one day in there that I sampled one other foundation, which after one day, I knew was the end of it, and I'll try and do a review of that one, maybe another week or so. But I really wanted to give this a good test to see how it worked. So right now you're seeing it. I did buy, it comes in a glass container and it comes with this cap in this way. It does not have a pump. So I knew I had to have a pump. So I did go ahead and order the extra pump, which is really kind of, it's an extra expense because I have a feeling that most people do also prefer having a pump on their liquid makeup, especially more of an expensive one. That I just found that if I was tapping it or trying to put it on my hand or on, I like to put on a little cap from an old makeup. As I put it on there, I was so fearful that a whole bunch was going to spill out. So I felt like it was a pretty good investment for me to be able to go ahead and get the pump. So the makeup is a little pricey, the pump is a little bit more. I have heard, I don't know for sure, that you can also buy a pump from MAC and it's a little bit less pricey. I'll have everything listed down below. So if you did get that, it would just have this kind of a cap. So, however, I did get the pump and I used the pump. The pump does not come with another cap, which I kind of wish. It has a little locking mechanism, but I really kind of wish it also had another cap on top of it too. But here goes. So what color I have gone back and forth so many different times with different colors, sampling different things. I have more of a yellowish tone to my skin, but not too yellow. I'm more of like the lightish medium beige, so like the sand, the ecru's, but not with the pink tones too much in it. And I really went back and forth. I had about 5 different colors I tried. The one that I ended up settling on, actually that I have on right now, is medium 1 or Prajab. It will all be linked down below. So if you are more of a skin texture as the skin tone as myself, I am also, if you're in a Laura Mercier, I was always in the ecru. And MAC, I tend to be an NC25, but sometimes that's a little light. Like right now, I might be able to pull that off during the summer, even though I don't tan. You just have a little bit more color still to your body. I can't pull that off. So just to give you some kind of a reference point. Okay, Nars Sheer Glow. So I am wearing it right now, and I will either have a demo of me applying it alongside, or I'll save it to the end. I'm going to see how long the video goes. I don't like to keep them too long, and the quality of my recording of my application, because I don't have really fancy lights so far, I know it's not great and it's not exciting. So the application of it, I really only probably need 2 pumps, but I tend to put about 3 pumps. It's kind of a liquidy. I just always did less, but I feel like a little bit more. So let me put 1 pump on here so you can see. It's definitely not a moussey texture. It is a little bit more liquidy. You can kind of see it running down my hand there. So I'll blend it in there for the what it's worth category, right? It really blends really nicely. I have been applying it several different ways. Now, the Nars sales rep had told me that they suggest you apply it with your fingers. So that's the first time that's the way I had applied it. And I think a year or two ago I had tried this before and just used my fingers. That does not work for me. I don't know what it is, but it does not apply well for me. However, I can apply it with a beauty blender, I can apply it with a brush, any type of a blending brush. It really wasn't that particular, and it really worked really well. If I use a brush, I usually did finish up quickly with a little dabbing of a beauty blender just because I like to kind of make sure none of the bristles or anything like that is showing. Oh, Bailey's coming to join us. Hey, say hi, Bailey. You have quite a following on YouTube. Okay, well, she'll probably join us for a little while before she tears up the bed over there. She likes to make her own little nest there. Don't your dogs do that? As far as the need for a primer, I typically always use a primer. I moisturize and then I usually use a primer. I have several that I like a lot. I love the Hourglass Veil Mineral one. However, that's a little pricey. I have recently also started using the Nivea, the Aftershave Balm, which works quite well. It's kind of interesting. It's so thin though, so I always feel like it's not really going on there, but it does really work well. I am also, and what you'll see, I believe in the video that you'll see, and then when you see the demo of me applying it, you'll see I use a Rimmel one that I've been testing out as well too, and I've really, really liked as well. So I do use a primer, and I do feel like for my skin type, which is, if you haven't watched any of my videos before, I used to be very oily. Then I moved to more combination skin. Now I use Retin-A, and so that has really made my skin a lot drier. So I kind of feel like I have artificially dry skin, but I do still get some shiny little bits. I tend to like a more matte finish on my makeup. However, when you see the demo, you'll see I add just a tiny bit of oil in it just to kind of get it, I don't know, gives a little bit more, I don't know. See if you see, does this look too glowy? So let me know if you think that this looks too glowy right now. I add just a tiny, tiny bit of it. So I got a sample of it. It's the Peter Roth Oilless Oil. So you'll see me add a little bit of that. Jaclyn Hill recommended that. Several other people have also recommended doing that. And it really kind of puts an interesting mix to the foundation. It's certainly not necessary. And I'm still not 100% sure I'm comfortable with the kind of more glow that this does give this. This is not the finish that you would get without that kind of oil there. It's a little bit more satiny for a look there. So as far as for working on mature skin, which I think is really critical question, because I have found so many foundations that I think are beautiful, and yet I find that it settles very quickly or shortly after application into my fine line, well, my wrinkles. They're not fine lines anymore. Into my wrinkles, or kind of sits strangely on more of texturized skin, which is another thing not so much tied with age, but I have a little more texturized area around my chin. And I always have these dry spots on the corners of my mouth, which are coming and going a lot as well too. So how does it play well with that? First of all, I have not found that it does anything extreme as far as it doesn't erase my wrinkles, it doesn't erase my pores. However, it also does not settle into them or magnify any of them. I'm very careful also, and you'll see in the demo that a little trick I picked up, and I'll try and link her video down below because I can't recall her name off the top of my head, is that she applied her foundation, then applied bronzer, setting, some type of a setting spray, and then you kind of let that kind of fix a little bit, and then you go in with a beauty blender and you kind of press down, and I felt like that really works very well because it catches any of your foundation before it does settle in, like in your smile lines, which I still get quite a bit of that anyway, but any of the areas under your eyes. So you will see that also in the demonstration. So really thumbs up all around so far with this Nars Sheer Glow. So longevity, I really have had no problems with it breaking up to any great degree, any more or any less than any of my other foundations. So absolutely no complaints there. Coverage, I think, is beautiful. I really, really like it. You can sheer it out very nicely, but it still gives you that nice look. And it feels like it doesn't lay on your skin like I've had some other foundations, and the one I just tested for the one day and I knew would not work. It really does, I don't want to say melts into your skin because it doesn't disappear, but it really just gives like a nice, I don't know, kind of, I want to say airbrush too, because that's the wrong thing, but it really just blends in so nicely with your skin. And yet you can easily build it up well too. The easiest way to build it up, I have found, is to apply first with a brush and then go back in for your second layer, just applying it where you need it with a beauty blender. So all those have worked really well. No worries about primers, no worries about how to apply it, except for fingers did not work for me. I typically always use a setting powder. My favorite one right now has been the Lorac, the poreless one. And of course the Laura Mercier, the translucent setting powder, is gorgeous as well too. So I typically do put a powder on, whether it's over my entire face or just in the T-zone area, because I hate that kind of oily feeling that I rewind to my earlier teenage days when I did have all that oily skin. So that's why it's kind of pushing you to see. I don't know about this glow look. I'm kind of playing it with a little bit there. But so overall, huge thumbs up for this Nars Sheer Glow. So I can definitely understand why it has been so hyped and why it is so popular as a foundation for that medium to buildable full coverage with a not glowy but not matte kind of finish. So a little pricey, however, especially if you want to get the extra pump, and I wish the pump then did come with another cap. However, I have to say, I have been really thrilled with it, especially once I got the right color match. So big thumbs up all around. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that this has been helpful if you've been toying around with whether or not to give this a try. I always recommend, if you're close to a Sephora, that's wonderful, or any department stores like a Nordstrom's or Macy's that carries the Nars, and they will give you samples and play with them at home before you make the big purchase. That's always my thought and recommendation, especially with this one. I felt like I had to go through a lot of different color swatches before I found the one I was most happy with. So if you'd like me to keep continuing to review some different foundations, please let me know in the comments below. If you found any other kind of fun ways to play around with the Nars Sheer Glow, or any other kind of foundations that you think would be suitable or that I should try, again, leave some notes in the comments below. Start that interaction. I really have enjoyed that. So give this video a thumbs up if it's something that you think has been helpful, or you've enjoyed, or you just feel like saying, hey, kudos. And please subscribe so we can continue this kind of growing family here on YouTube. So until next time, goodbye YouTube.